I rarely borrow books because borrowing means I have to return it and then I'll never have a copy. Yeah. So I would rather know, what are you reading? Is it good? Tell me about it.
I would like
then I
to
buy
adopt
it.
that.
Yeah. So then I'm the one who usually lends. So a few weeks ago I bought myself 2 books. I was in a bad mood, and books always make me feel, nice. It's like buying expensive something. For me, it's books. Yeah.
It's like food.
Yeah. So I'm reading a book called And the Mountains Echoed by Khalid Hosseini. He's one of my favorites. Although his books really make me cry.
Are they sad?
They are sad, but in a nice.
Real,
they're
they're
bittersweet.
relatable.
They're very relatable. Like you see, he writes about people's experiences in Afghanistan and Kabul and things and you really see how people live. Like it's fiction, but it just feels so real. Like there's no way this is. It's not the same way as you'd read Harry Potter.
Okay, I'm very excited. First, I like books.
Thank you.
I really, really, really like books. Because I'm reading a book called God's Big Idea by Miles Monroe. Very interesting book. It talks about ideology and how everything is shaped by ideas. And so for me, it's just one of those books where you read, you finish, you come back, you go back like, did I read that? Can you imagine this is? And it's just wow.
John, what are you reading?
I am currently reading 2 books. I usually read something at work, another on my phone for when I'm in transit, and then I can always have something that I read at home. So can be all over the place. But we're reading Chinua Achebe's No Longer It Is. Yeah.
It would be fun to read it now.
Yes, exactly. Yes, so I've been reading literature that we did reading in school. It's very interesting how I understand and understand it right now. But I'm also reading Hillary Clinton's What Happened, and with every page that I'm turning, I just keep thinking this is not a book I'd ever write. Yeah, it's a great account. Quite honestly, it just sounds like a defense.
Oh yeah,
and no, I mean, I you see, it says it's a what happened. I actually know. I want to know what happened.
Or her version of
it. I'm very interested in that. I'm very interested in the leadership journeys of women who made it or who are making it.
I'm happy that all of us here read. Especially because I really don't know how to
deal with
interact with people who don't read, because then it's always a trick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why is it a trick?
Because you're not on the same wavelength with people who don't.
It's the truth.
It's the truth. If you
I'd like that to be said in plain. Are you
saying
that
you think that they're stupid or you're more intelligent than they are?
Actually, it does make. I feel like reading does make people, more intelligent than others, because you've been exposed to certain things. You've read information that they haven't.
But isn't there another way I can get information? Why do you elevate reading as the one which will get people more intelligent than others?
Because there's proof of it also.
Yeah,
there's proof of it.
But I'll say, Yvonne, in your lifetime, you're never going to get time or even opportunities to experience all the different things that people all over the world experience, or even understand.
Couldn't I just watch? First, wait, hold on. Could I just watch? And then there's also the podcast.
I feel like those are modes of getting information and whatnot. But I'll speak from my experience. Yeah, I watch, I have listened, I have read. Yeah, even some books I even listen to them, and yet still I would prefer to hold a book and read it. I don't internalize things the same way I do when I'm reading.
Would you say that that's specific to you, Patra?
I do not think so. But let me tell you,
I think
for
it's
me,
something
I'll
that
tell
we
you
should
why I
investigate.
think.
Because there's a way readers are snobbish.
Yes.
They are snobs.
They place themselves. Yeah.
Like for us, we read.
Just like writers, place themselves in their little cocoon of very intelligent intellectuals. Yes, that's true. But this is why I think that reading engages engages a person enough for them to say they understand the subject better than if
when they
simply watched.
Yeah.
What happens with watching, I'll just relate it to something that I keep saying about the way we teach children. When you're a baby, a toddler and everything, you're playing with a ball at home. But in Uganda, when you go to school, nursery school for the first time, a teacher will draw a ball, that circle and two little
stick man.
No, and then those, and then say this is a ball. But my question is, when they do that, when they draw the representation of a ball on the board, are they trying to say that this child who has been playing a football before they ever came to school would never be able to say represent a ball on paper the way they've been saying it? And yet, from that point on, you will not draw a ball otherwise.
Yeah.
You draw it exactly as it is. So that's what happens with watching.
Reading, okay.
Reading engages. It engages your
listen.
The same.
Okay, reading engages.
So it engages your senses. It engages your creativity because you read and then you go to visualize. But that's your creation of what it is that this person.
It works the muscle.
Yes, it works. Yeah. So that's creativity.
Yeah.
And yet when you watch, it's already represented to you.
Lazy
so
muscle.
imagine if you never watched the story of Jesus with that white man. Do you think
long
people
hair and that white shirt?
Did you ever think that Jesus was a white guy before you ever saw that movie?
I guess.
But right now, do you ever see a black person and think, Jesus?
No way. I just can't.
When you read your Bible,
it limits your creativity, it limits your imagination when things are made visual before you're given a chance to create your own visuals.
But what about listening? Like the podcasts, no visual, but here it's just an audio.
Okay, so maybe reading. What does reading entail, really? Because earlier on, someone else can also say, I go on Twitter and I read stuff, or I go to Facebook.
280 characters, by the way, not 140.
What did I think, man? 280 characters, yes. And I say, I read stuff. I'm going to do a thread on whatnot.
You are a reader in your own right.
Yeah.
And avid reader. Spend all day on Twitter.
No, we wouldn't. Let's not choose the word avid.
I feel
just a reader.
For us snobbish readers, we feel insulted when you say people who go and read tweets are readers.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so what does reading entail? You are still
I feel like what's the information that you're consuming, not the ability to read, because those are two different things. Like ability to read and write. Yes, those are two different.
That's
things.
literacy. See, like when you asked why people who read feel that they're more intelligent, the truth is there's a lot more resource that's written books than there is in all other forms of information like audio or video. So the truth is anybody who's more inclined to read is going to have a lot more access to more knowledge, whether it's ideas or facts or opinions, than someone who's simply listening or who's waiting to watch.
Does this example
simply watching? Because now when you talk about listening, someone would argue that I don't have time, and so as I'm driving, I'm going to have a podcast, in the car.
I listen to audiobooks.
Or as I'm working, I'm going to just have audiobooks in my ears all day. So will you still be?
John,
do you think
does the quality of what people read then differentiate? Because that matters as well, because I can't say that I spend a whole day on Twitter and I'm reading threads and whatnot and things like, because some people base their knowledge based on those small things that they have read to say, oh, I know stuff, but also I feel like and for a person whose job really is social media, I feel like a lot of people who consume information online on social media specifically are headline consumers. Someone is going to read 280 characters of a certain piece of information, even when it's important, and that will be it.
What you're really trying to get at is you do not consider them readers. That's exactly what you're trying to say.
For me to consider
readers.
Do we have a reading culture in Uganda? For the longest time, there's all these sayings, if you want to hide something from a Ugandan,
African, not Ugandan,
Ugandans, Africans.
But don't
put it in a book.
Yes. I honestly wouldn't say that we have a reading culture.
What is a reading
The thing is
culture?
that with a culture, first of all, culture is basically a set of customs, beliefs that a certain particular group of people associate with. And in Uganda, the closest we would have to a reading culture is a study culture. I don't even know if I can say there's a study culture. We read for school, for class, and a few intellectuals read outside.
By their teachers.
Yes.
When you speak about reading culture, in relation to Uganda, it's not like 500 centuries ago that books came to Africa. So how do we expect these? Okay, came to Uganda.
Yes,
so how do we expect now Ugandans to suddenly get that we find information in books?
So we were first introduced to reading as part of education, as part of study, as part of study, which is why we have a study culture.
Not reading as maybe leisure or reading as research or reading as I want to find out more.
You see how she mentioned earlier, you're reading Chinua Achebe. Chinua Achebe is a very good writer.
Yes.
Yeah, his books are very interesting, and yet at the time
they
gave us we read those books.
Yes.
I can't even tell you. I
That was
remember
under
half of what was in those books, and yet teachers will tell you these things. It's important that you
finish
read
the book by this time.
stuff like that, but maybe they are not really communicating what the actual importance of reading these books means. Yeah.
Yes.
What they are communicating is read this book because you have this literature.
I think teachers can only communicate what they know, and that's what they know as well. We can only teach what we know.
True.
So if teachers were also teaching literature or reading as for examination purposes,
So, but then
that's all they can teach.
So clearly we have.
okay. So, but then we recognize that it's important to read. Yeah.
Yes.
We recognize that it's important to read. How do we get people who have a study culture to understand these benefits of reading and start to read?
Just like you, the snobs are really helpful because honestly, there are places where you start to
Patra, you're a snob.
speak and it's like, man, what am I saying?
I just read.
As in, like, this is not even true. As in, I need to go and find out. So I think things which are based on research will force people to do what? To read. Like, information is fodder and it's
For
like,
intelligence.
For intelligence.
Yes.
And the whole speaking on things without information, like uninformed statements, uninformed
Beliefs.
conclusions, uninformed beliefs. Like, whoever is listening to you should shoot you, because it's like, why are you telling me things that you haven't like researched about, you haven't weighed out, like, and yet we have a population that listens, as in we're just watching and believing.
Yeah. Ask yourself why aren't people reading?
Consuming my product.
People do not read because the value in reading is very abstract value. You can never say that I think deeper on things now, or I easily create alternate realities or whatever because I got that skill or I developed it from reading books. You would have to think very hard to come to that kind of conclusion, and yet it's most probably true. So because the value in reading is very abstract, and it's really just implied in the way we end up living life and in the way we end up relating with people. It's not something that you can just write down and tell guys you will think better if you read.
You have more to think about.
You have more to think about.
You have more to think about, but do I need to think about more things? I mean, am I uncomfortable with the few thoughts that I have right
for
now?
the simple reason of
Joanne,
learning.
I think you said something about bigotry and how the people with certain views are comfortable reading about those views,
What they
and
agree
then
with.
they fold their hands and they're lazy
At
to
the very
to
least,
go
they'll
out.
be informed bigots.
Yeah.
So
But
they
then,
won't be arguing
for me,
from a point of.
For me, that's okay. As me, it's a challenge, and I embrace that challenge because it's like, what authority am I to speak about only one side without understanding the other side? And I think people could pick that up, because if you're a person who speaks only on, like, you see everything through your purple lens and you can never look through a pink lens, how would you be able
for
to?
the basic reason for learning.